Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our webinar. Today we bring you a joint webinar with HPE and Citrix. Prashanto, can you help me showcase the slide, please? So my name is Rubal Walia. I'll be your host for the webinar today. I'm part of the marketing team at Citrix Ready. And today the topic on hand is how HPE SimpliVity and Citrix simplify hybrid cloud workspaces. Before we get into it, a few housekeeping details. We do have a formal Q&A session at the end of the webinar, but in case you do have questions in between, please feel free to use the Q&A panel on GoToWebinar, and we'd be happy to take your questions. If the questions are relevant to the entire audience, we'll pick them up and discuss it at the end of the webinar. This webinar is also being recorded, and we'd have a copy sent over to you in the next 24 hours. Before I introduce the speakers for the day, I'd just like to take a couple of minutes to give a little bit of context and background to how we've sort of come to this webinar today. So this webinar comes to you after an effort of few months that we've sort of put in with HPE SimpliVity solution to bring you a joint solution. At Citrix, we've really been on a fanatical mission to create solutions that are people-centric, solutions that provide you the best user experience, security, as well as the choice that your organizations may need. So with the whole HCI workspace program, we've tried to eliminate multiple layers of complexity that often arise behind a VDI solution. So while HCI, the hyperconverged infrastructure itself, combines the compute, networking, as well as the storage layers, with the Citrix workspace appliances, we've tried to provide you a combination of HCI that connects to Citrix Cloud, and this is where really the magic happens. So without further ado, let me first bring on the speakers of the webinar today. The first speaker is Alan Furmansky. He's the Senior Alliance Platform Solutions Architect from Citrix, a good friend. Thank you for joining the webinar, Alan.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you, Rupal.
And you want to quickly talk about what you do at Citrix?
Absolutely. So at Citrix, I work closely with our key alliance partners, such as HPE, on joint technical solutions and collateral. And I've been at Citrix for over 10 years now in different capacities, including our services division, readiness, product management, and marketing. So I'm looking forward to sharing the content with everyone today.
Thank you, Alan. And next up is Prashanto from HPE. Prashanto, you want to quickly talk about who you are and what you do at HPE?
Sure, Rubal. Hi, everyone. My name is Prashanto Kochavara. I'm a product manager within the software-defined cloud group at HPE, and I manage the solution ecosystem or the solution space for HPE SimpliVity.
Thank you, Prashanto. If you could just help me move to the next slide. I take another couple of minutes to just talk about what Citrix Ready is. So Citrix Ready basically is a technology partner program for tech companies that would want to partner with us and integrate with our technologies. This could be across digital workspace, networking, as well as analytics. So once the technology companies do decide to integrate with the solutions, these companies test and validate their joint solutions and eventually earn the Citrix Ready designation, which over the years has really meant to be the designation to prove your Citrix compatibility. So we have about 1,000+ partners currently on our platform and 30,000 products listed on the Citrix Ready marketplace. So this is really the #1 source to sort of evaluate verified partner products for our customers. If you do want to know more about what our partner products are, please use the URL mentioned on the slide about the marketplace. There's also a URL if you want to know more about the whole Citrix Ready program. So without further ado, let me hand it over to Prashanto. Prashanto, over to you.
Thank you, Rubal. Okay. So everyone, this is the agenda that we have for today. And as Rubal pointed out, this is a joint solution that we have launched with Citrix. HPE and Citrix have jointly launched this solution for Citrix Workspace Appliance. And what we're going to be doing today is first we'll talk about the market observations as to what we have been seeing, what customers have been asking for. Then we'll talk a bit about the strategy as part of the market observation. Then I will hand it over to Alan, who will give an overview about Citrix Cloud and Citrix Workspace appliance. Then I will do a quick overview of SimpliVity and then the integration that we have created for Citrix Cloud. Then Alan is going to talk about how all this appeals to you or what this can do for you. And then we will do a quick demo of the integration work that we have created to show you how it looks and how you would basically work with it. After that, we have a quick question and answer session, and then we'll wrap up everything with some call to action. Okay, so next we'll talk about market strategy and our observations. So based on one of the analysis that we did with TechTarget last year, what we noticed that the biggest drivers in the end user computing market today are management, security, TCO, and mobility of workers and applications also continue to be a big driver. But if you had to kind of summarize, if you see the main concentration of the requirements lie within management, security, and saving money. Okay. When we speak to customers, IT directors, or the business owners, what we understand or what we find out from them is that these customers do not have the resources to deploy hybrid cloud VDI solutions that are scalable and secure. They have one part of the solution, but they are often missing the other key elements. So to have a complete solution that provides everything always is a challenge and something that customers are looking to resolve. Okay, so now let's talk about the strategy that HPE uses. Now, for enterprises to be successful, speeding time to value across the hybrid world is the #1 priority, and this is what HPE believes as well. And to do this, the new generation of applications and data, they demand a technology that is going to be fast, that's going to be flexible, scalable, and composable at the same time. And what you want to do is you want to have access to your data, whether the data is hosted in the public cloud or private cloud or anywhere. You want to make sure that the data is accessible to you. And now on top of this, you want to be able to capitalize on the convergence of IoT applications and data that is closest to the customers, employees, users, and transactions. That is the intelligent edge. This is where your enterprise touches the customer, employees, and the outside world. And all of this creates value for your business. So to summarize, what we want to do is we want to conquer these real world challenges, help customers capture the opportunities that come in at an everything computes world, which is at the heart of HPE's strategy and mission. So in short, what we're trying to do, we want to make hybrid IT simple. We want to power the intelligent edge, and we want to make sure that the data is accessible everywhere. Now, to talk a bit about Citrix strategy, I'm going to hand it over to Alan.
Great, thanks, Prashanto. Okay, so let's talk about Citrix strategy. And many of you on the line may be familiar with Citrix. Right? You probably are using Citrix in your environment, considering using Citrix. But where are we at as a company? I think that's important to understand. And from the Citrix perspective, we're all around enabling secure workspaces. That's our strategy, giving users access to what they need to be productive, their apps, their desktops, from anywhere, any device, on any network, while at the same time also balancing that, locking it down, and ensuring that it's secured with a secure digital perimeter. Now, this software-defined digital perimeter enables that easy access for people wherever they are, anywhere around the world, using any device they come in with. So we're bringing together all the elements that you see here on the screen. And on that right side, we have IT and the networking aspect that needs to ensure that business needs are met and they're managing the apps and data, and they have the visibility into that level of access and the environment utilization. How are things tracking? Well, on the left side, we have our users. And the user base in most organizations nowadays is becoming increasingly diverse in terms of the types of users, how they connect, what the expectations are, and we need to balance that. We need to ensure that great user experience that we talk about, while at the same time ensuring that the security and control is there, and doing so in a contextual manner. How are users connecting? Are they connecting from the office? Are they connecting from an unknown remote location? And then provide that right level of access at the right time. So when we take a closer look at the Citrix strategy and we talk about cloud, our cloud strategy is effectively our Citrix strategy. But what does that mean? What does that mean with the goal that we have of building the world's best integrated technology services solution? Well, what it means is that we focus on key principles of securely uniting the apps, the data, and the networks that enable users to be productive and ensure IT has the necessary level of control. It's a simple mission, and it's one that we've continued to evolve over the past 2 decades, and is really stronger now than it's ever been before. At the center is the core tenet of security, which can be thought of as a fabric through everything that we do. And it's incredibly important and certainly top of mind with all CIO nowadays, because we need to provide that right level of balance. And the solutions that we'll be talking about here today allow you to do just that. When we think about the overall landscape of IT and what's happening in organizations, there's three general trends that we'll talk through here. And this is what we hear from the industry and from analysts. On average, many customer organizations are delivering as many as 100 or more different applications that have individual requirements for specific user bases, and navigating between them with different performance outcomes in different environments and different credentials basically forces people to have to context switch between what they're doing. And this ultimately results in a decrease in user experience, while at the same time the business risk is increasing because users are needing to access information remotely and perform different operations across the enterprise with the application and data suites that they have access to. All at the same time, IT complexity is also increasing. We have more platforms to manage, more infrastructure, clouds. It's all coming together, but we need to make sense of it all and ensure that it is being utilized to the business's advantage. So at the end of the day, when we have to work with a user experience challenge and an increase in business risk, as well as IT complexity, many organizations are realizing that complexity can be expensive, and it's something that needs to be tamed. By conservative industry analyst estimates, complexity costs the typical organization approximately $800 per user per year. Now think about this just for a moment. $800 per user per year, that's pretty substantial times the number of users in an organization and what's involved in the overhead. So this is something that needs to be addressed. And with joint Citrix and HPE solutions that we'll be talking about here today, we can do just that. Cloud is a buzzword, and it's something that means something to different people. You could ask 10 people in IT what cloud means to them, and I assure you, you'd likely get 10 different responses. At Citrix, we believe in choice, we believe in flexibility, and embracing different architectures and environments. And we very much believe in the hybrid strategy when it comes to cloud, because we know cloud is the future. And to us, it's really more of a journey than it is a destination. It's something that you want to plan and think through, but it's not something that you would just check off that, oh, I'm adopting cloud now, or or these are the providers that I'm going with. For example, Gartner predicts that 90% of organizations will adopt some form of hybrid cloud infrastructure by 2020, which will be here very shortly. And IDC predicts that hybrid cloud spending will reach almost 69 billion by the year 2021. So hybrid cloud is very much real, and it allows customers to meet their business objectives on their terms. We're already seeing this trend from the Citrix side, and analysts agree that this trend will certainly continue. Okay, so with the stage now set, let's take a look at Citrix Cloud, what it is, how it will help our organization, as well as our Citrix Workspace Appliance Program overview and the joint Citrix HPE solution. When we think about cloud and Citrix Cloud, many people have the connotation of public cloud. But Citrix Cloud is that cloud-based management plane of services. We're uniting the best of all Citrix services and offerings under one pane of glass, one cloud-based management interface that can connect to all of your environments and bring it together seamlessly. Services such as the virtual apps and desktop service, based off of proven technology over 2 decades worth of app and desktop virtualization, endpoint management, secure mobility, and mobile application management. We have content collaboration for secure file sharing, collaboration, and workflows. The secure browser service. You may know that publishing a web browser is one of the top use cases for virtualized applications. So how can we do that in a very efficient manner? Now, the Citrix Cloud Management Plane delivers this entire portfolio of products as a service. It simplifies the delivery and management, so the IT admin doesn't have to think and worry about the updates to this platform. We keep it evergreen, and it's a simple subscription-based service, turnkey. But when we think about a cloud-based management plane, we also need to be aware that this extends on-premises software deployments to create that true hybrid workspace environment that will fuel business productivity. And that's what we're going to be discussing here today. Specifically, we'll be focusing on the service virtual apps and desktops. But do keep in mind that there are a number of services that are part of the complete Citrix digital workspace. Now, with the traditional apps and desktops deployment, an architecture will look as follows. This is an architecture that's well proven at scale in customer environments all over the world. Here are some of the components that will be deployed. You have your Studio and Director management consoles. You have your license server. You have your delivery controllers that handle the brokering functionality. On the back end, you have your SQL database, which is made highly available. We have Storefront, which is the Citrix Enterprise Self-Service App Store, delivering up your resources for your users. And then we have our Citrix Application Delivery Controller, or ADC, providing the networking functionality and entry points of the environment. We have the resources or workloads that we're delivering for our users, which represent the server and desktop VDAs, or virtual delivery agents, which can be, of course, both virtual and physical. And then Active Directory, providing the authentication and authorization into the environment. Now, on the left, we see the blue icon for our Citrix Workspace app, having evolved from Citrix Receiver and years worth of really understanding endpoint requirements and how users can access all these resources. Now, this is a solid, proven architecture, but it's one that customers or partners would have to own or manage in its entirety. So the barriers to entry can be somewhat significant, especially for smaller organizations looking to start with virtual apps and virtual desktops. So how can we simplify this and do this in a hybrid cloud fashion that gives our customers or prospective customers literally the best of both worlds? Well, that's where Citrix Cloud and the Citrix Workspace appliance comes into play. What we do is we make this logical separation between the services that we're offering in Citrix Cloud and the resources or workloads that are actually deployed by you, by the IT admin. In Citrix Cloud, with the virtual apps and desktop service, we take care of the management consoles. You don't have to worry about licensing. You don't have to worry about the storefront or the delivery controllers. And we take care of the database backend. We manage it all and we keep it evergreen for you, providing access to this interface from anywhere in the world. Now, at your on-premises resource locations, at those locations, you will set up your infrastructure running on HPE SimpliVity. The Citrix Workspace appliance, of which SimpliVity is part of the program, will ensure quick and easy integration to Citrix Cloud. This is handled via automation of the Citrix Cloud connectors. These are the lightweight server virtual machines that connect up securely to Citrix Cloud and provide communication, brokering, and other functionality from your on-premises location. So this is true hybrid cloud. As a customer or partner, you are managing the resource location, running on HPE SimpliVity infrastructure. It gives you world-class performance, simplicity, and scalability, while Citrix will manage the overall control plane. Taking a closer look at what makes this all work in the virtual apps and desktop service. So the virtual apps and desktop service is the highly available service in the cloud. And then from your one or more resource locations, the cloud connector is going to communicate securely back to that service. The cloud connector has several services representing different functionality as it proxies the commands from Citrix Cloud. And it's important to keep in mind that Citrix Cloud is a management plane, merely storing the metadata, while all your real business data and your applications and resources are living in the data center at that particular resource location. As you see, Citrix Cloud contains services around authentication, proxying, provisioning for your virtual machines using our machine creation services, disk-based provisioning technology, identity to support domain discovery, access, and authentication. So it's all bridged together and seamlessly integrated in the cloud connector, which this solution will automatically deploy for you. And then in your resource locations from your hypervisor of your choice, you are serving up your server and desktop-based workloads. A great turnkey approach. It's something that you can literally get started with in only a few hours' time. Now, oftentimes when we think about a cloud-based management plane and a service, one of the first things that comes to mind is around business continuity. How can we ensure that this environment is going to be highly available? Well, at Citrix and Citrix Cloud, availability is a core tenet of the offering. In fact, you can go to status.cloud.com at any time to check the status of the Citrix Cloud services. Firstly, the control plane. Everything in Citrix Cloud control plane is deployed in active-active pairs in 2 different data centers. All the components will sit behind a pair of Citrix load balancers, and traffic is directed appropriately within the control plane to ensure the best possible flow. Second is the concept of the network connectivity. And like any cloud service, the apps and desktop service, in this case, will require an internet connection. Just a simple internet connection, and the customer just ensures a necessary level of SLA from their internet service provider to ensure that they have that network connectivity to the cloud service. Remember, resources are brokered from that on-premises location, and users are connecting to the resources there. The management plane is simply providing the access layer and the brokering functionality, if you will. And third, right, as those components are deployed in the customer premises location, we have the high availability there in terms of the connectors that we spoke about, and the virtual delivery agents already have the built-in failover logic in them to re-register. So business continuity is well covered with this hybrid cloud solution, and as a customer, you can get the peace of mind knowing that this solution is going to provide that level of availability. All right, so now back to you, Prashanto, and we'll take a look at the HPE SimpliVity offering.
Thank you, Alan. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that great explanation of Citrix Cloud, Alan. Next, what we'll do is we'll go through a quick overview of the HPE SimpliVity platform. Okay, so if you look on the left-hand side of this slide, you see a traditional IT stack, right? You have a bunch of servers, hypervisor, you have a storage switch, you have shared storage, you have some appliances for backup and deduplication, then you have WAN optimizers for network optimization, you have cloud gateways, SSD arrays, storage caching, and a bunch of other technologies that need to be managed and operated within a legacy environment. So what HPE SimpliVity has done, it's taking all these services that you see on the left and compacting that into a single scalable 2U box. So what we provide with SimpliVity is that it's integrated into the hypervisor directly. So the hypervisors that you're used to, you can basically continue using them all the way. Then all the functionality to manage a SimpliVity environment has been baked into the hypervisor management interface. So basically, we support VMware vSphere today and Hyper-V. So the SimpliVity UI has been built into vCenter and System Center Virtual Machine Manager. We have built-in high resiliency. We have built-in data protection. What this means is that you do not need to purchase any other additional software to protect data on a SimpliVity environment. In an end-user computing environment, generally when you use link clones and similar technologies, you don't need to protect the desktops, but you can think about user data and user profiles that can be stored on the same platform that you would want to protect. So you can use SimpliVity's built-in data protection technology to do that. Now, because we are compacting all these different services into a single box, we are eliminating additional interfaces. We are reducing cost in terms of power cooling, integration, support. We are truly eliminating the complexity that is involved in managing a traditional IT stack. We are not just hiding it, but we are trying to make it more impactful and less error prone. Now, let's take a look at what the SimpliVity software provides. So the SimpliVity data virtualization platform has 3 pillars. The first pillar is global VM-centric management and mobility. What this means is every operation or every service or anything that you do within a SimpliVity environment is based on is done at a VM level. So every operation, you basically would right-click a VM and select the operation that you would want to do. We do not deal with traditional concepts of LUNs, shares, or volumes. Everything, as I said, is a right-click operation directly on the VM level object. We're built into the hypervisor management interface, so you do not need to learn any new additional user interface. And then we have a single view through the SimpliVity UI of all your SimpliVity clusters or your SimpliVity federation, which is another term we use to describe a SimpliVity environment. The second pillar within the SimpliVity software is built-in resiliency, backup, and disaster recovery. So all our backups that we provide on the platform are full logical backups. What this means is that there is no connection between a backup and the original VM. So if you delete the original VM, you can actually get the entire data and the content of the VM back by restoring the backup. This is different than how snapshots would work. If you have snapshots and you delete the original VM, your snapshot doesn't work. So those kind of issues do not exist with SimpliVity data protection technology. Our technology is so efficient that we guarantee the restore backup of terabytes of VMs within 60 seconds. And then you have granular levels of recovery time objectives and recovery point objectives that you can choose from. And in order to protect or provide more high availability on the system, we employ a RAIN plus RAID strategy of protecting the data. RAIN is redundant array of independent nodes, and RAID is redundant array of independent disks. So putting both these protection or resiliency technologies together, you get a super powerful combination of high availability. Now, on the SimpliVity platform, we have guaranteed data efficiency, which is the third pillar as well. We have built-in deduplication and compression for all data that happens at inception. So no two blocks on a SimpliVity system are the same. Every block is unique. And what we do is we have two kinds of platforms. We have a software-only platform, and then we have another platform which does the computation of the compression and deduplication through an accelerator card. So there are multiple options available for you depending upon the kind of performance and density that you require. And what we do is we also guarantee 90% capacity savings across all your SimpliVity sites. Now let's put all these software pieces together and see what does SimpliVity provide you, right? So firstly, it's fast, right? 91% time is free to focus on innovation and your new applications. We support all the tier 1 applications, and we have multiple customers running that today successfully without any issues. And we have 88% of our customer base see dramatic improvements in performance and app availability. Now, the platform is super powerful and efficient. As I mentioned, we provide multiple guarantees around our data protection technology, our data efficiency technology. And some of the guarantees are like 1 minute to backup restore terabyte of VM, 90% savings across storage and backup combined, and overall TCO savings of 69%. And then it's a multi-cloud platform because we support multiple hypervisors. We support VMware vSphere and Hyper-V private clouds, and we enable the deployment of VMs and applications just through a few clicks. Now let's talk about the integration that we have created for Citrix Cloud. Right? We know the benefits that Citrix Cloud provides. We know the benefits that SimpliVity provides. Now let's put all this together. So before we get into that, why do you want to choose HPE and Citrix? Right? HPE and Citrix have been in the business for more than 20 years. They've been jointly producing solutions, jointly servicing and supporting customers, and providing an end-to-end portfolio that customers can choose from to address all their requirements and needs. So if you're trying to choose a solution, then you would definitely want to choose from a joint alliance of two companies that have been in the business for long and have been interoperating and producing valuable solutions to its customer base. Now, what if we could simplify the infrastructure, we could simplify the delivery platform, we could deploy hybrid cloud VDI in minutes with a solution that's fully integrated and supported. Now, this is what the solution HPE SimpliVity for Citrix Workspace Appliance provides you. Now, just highlighting again the benefits of Citrix Cloud, we get simplified management, security, and faster time to market. All the provisioning is super fast, and all these management and security principles and complexities are taken care of by Citrix directly. So what we have done is we have created this plugin for both our platforms, that's the Hyper-V and the VMware platform, that automates the deployment of the Cloud Connector VMs and connects the SimpliVity cluster to Citrix Cloud. We have built these plugins that sit directly within vCenter or System Center Virtual Machine Manager, depending upon the hypervisor that you are using. And the way we do this is we are leveraging SimpliVity APIs, Hypervisor APIs, Citrix Cloud APIs to automate the deployment, connection, and establishing the secure connection to Citrix Cloud. So this is the vision that we are trying to share with customers, and this is the vision that we are trying to build out. What we feel is because of the innovation and the amount of data that is being created at the edge and not just at the core today, you're going to have multiple distributed sites which can be addressed by using SimpliVity clusters everywhere. And then in order to connect these multiple SimpliVity sites or SimpliVity clusters to Citrix Cloud, you can do that directly from the plugin that sits within the same management interface, and on demand, whenever you need it, connect your SimpliVity cluster to Citrix Cloud and start deploying applications and desktops. So we want to have the centralized approach, centralized control of managing your end user computing environment. Now let's talk about why you want to use SimpliVity Citrix Cloud Services to build Citrix Workspace appliance, right? So firstly, SimpliVity is a Citrix Workspace appliance. It's already verified under the Citrix Ready program. We automatically connect to Citrix Cloud, and it's the easiest path to go from an on-prem to a hybrid VDI cloud solution. We've already spoken about how SimpliVity supports and simplifies the management infrastructure, eliminates any kind of IT silos, and you do not need to be a IT specialist. Any IT journalist can manage the SimpliVity stack. And Citrix Cloud Services provides deployment of virtual apps and desktops within minutes. You can create a turnkey solution on top of SimpliVity with it, and then you can deploy the entire stack from within a couple of hours and with just a few clicks. Now, what does all this mean for you? So I will let Alan cover the impact that the solution can have for you. And then after that, we'll jump into a quick demo that Alan and me will jointly do. So Alan, back over to you.
Great, thanks, Prashanto. Appreciate that. So now we're going to take a look at what this means for you as a customer or a prospective customer or perhaps a partner, and what is the value here, right? Let's distill that down for a little bit. The benefits of hybrid cloud Citrix workspaces with HPE SimpliVity are as follows. The first is simplicity, right? Like we talked about, traditionally solutions around VDI in general have been complex, and there's a few things that need to be managed. This takes out the guesswork. It's a very simple, prescriptive approach. It's going to be easy to deploy, easy to manage, because you're just focusing on the most strategic part of your business, the resources that you're delivering. Automated integration, as we'll show in the demo, seamless integration via simple to use wizard. And like we said, this is something that you can, and customers have done this, you can deploy this in a few hours time. So the barriers to adoption are very low, and you can realize that value incredibly quick. Scalability, it's a scale as you grow architecture. This is very important because with many solutions, scalability can be unpredictable. This solution has very much a linear scalability. It's very predictable, add additional nodes as required, seamlessly spin up more VDAs, onboard to existing resource locations, or build out new resource locations at the data centers of your choice. Security, right? Incredibly important. Encrypted user credentials. You're always controlling your own data in your data center location with the secure fabric of HPE SimpliVity. And from the Citrix Cloud side, Citrix Cloud's only handling the metadata. So we don't have your application data. We don't have any sensitive corporate data or intellectual property. It's maintained securely where it belongs in the data center on your HP infrastructure. And then from the savings perspective, subscription-based pricing, it's easy to understand. You can pay as you grow, you can scale as you grow, like we said, and the reduced maintenance and support. We're going to help you from the Citrix side and certainly from the HPE side. And as Prashanto mentioned, the Citrix HP relationships, it's one of the few in the industry that have been so strong for so long, over 2 decades worth. And that truly speaks volumes in terms of what we can deliver to you with comprehensive solutions that are meeting your business objectives. And then from the partner side, if you're a partner, we have a rich partner ecosystem that we're very proud of on the Citrix side. And this is a tremendous opportunity for our partners to reach out to customers. Maybe they're looking to get into VDI, maybe they have some point projects with VDI, expand or just simplify their VDI offering. These are the offerings that we have and the opportunity that presents itself from a growth perspective, the revenue and high growth markets across different verticals. The technology, this is a best of breed solution. You're getting the best of what Citrix has to offer with our built-in HDX, high definition user experience, all of our know-how baked into Citrix Cloud, as well as the very comprehensive and robust and easy to use HPE SimpliVity platform that Prashanto talked about. Expansion side, great opportunity there from point product to more solutions. And it is a profitable opportunity as well. So there's great value from the partner side. And support services are critical, right? You're going to be able to get this environment up and running in a very short amount of time, which will be fantastic. But what happens throughout the life cycle of this environment? And that's also where we shine together with HPE and Citrix. Pre-deployment professional services, we can help you with your applications and your data. Keep in mind, we have leading solutions such as our Citrix app layering technology, allowing you to maintain and manage your application and your operating system portfolio and really reduce the concept of golden image sprawl. So you're only really ever managing individual instances of operating systems and applications. Keep that complexity, again, on a linear track. And additional optimizations from our workspace environment management, install, configure. GPUs is certainly a big consideration because the growing needs from the end user perspective, even running a web browser, oftentimes requires and can greatly benefit from the GPU. And the post-deployment services, right? So we're monitoring, we're helping to manage and ensuring that the environment is meeting business objectives as new applications are coming in to manage images and other functions that you need to do with your environment. So from the Citrix side, we're absolutely there with you, as well as from the HPE side. Right? So HPE making it very easy, so-called out with the old, in with the new, ensuring that there is a plan in place to buy back any legacy infrastructure that you may already have. That's going to free up some capital and allow you to consume the new HPE SimpliVity infrastructure and get going on your terms. 0% financing, the 90-day deferral, as you can see. So definitely talk to us. Talk to us at Citrix, talk to us at HPE, and we'll put together a package that works for you and works for your customers. Because at the end of the day, we're passionate about the solutions that we deliver, empowering organizations for success and end users for productivity, and we are able to meet those needs with these kinds of solutions. All right, so with that said, I think we'll go ahead and head into a demo now. I'll pass it back to you, Prashanto, and we'll see this technology in action.
Awesome, thank you. Okay. Let me know when you can see my screen, Alan.
Okay, I can see your screen.
Okay, great. So what we've done is, so right now what you're looking at is the System Center Virtual Machine Manager user interface. So in order to manage a SimpliVity environment that is hooked into this user interface, there is just a plugin that you need to click. That is the HPE SimpliVity plugin that you see over here. What we've done is we've created a similar plugin for Citrix Cloud called SimpliVity Citrix Cloud Connector. Now, when you launch the plugin, this is the front screen that you see, and then you have a bunch of options like plug in, plug out, and if you have proxy servers or some, or if you want to bypass proxy information within your environment, you can do that as well. And then if you want to view the logs of what was the communication chatter happening between SimpliVity and Citrix Cloud, you can view that as well. So just going to click on plugin and provide the OmniStack virtual controller IP. Credentials to access the environment. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a couple of seconds to connect. Okay, so this is basically the screen that you configure information about the Cloud Connector VMs. You provide some domain information that you want the Cloud Connector VMs to join to. You provide your Citrix client ID, the keys, customer name, and the resource location that you're creating, or if you're adding Cloud Connector VMs to the same resource location. Then you can select the networks that you want the Cloud Connector VM to join to. If you have multiple networks, maybe some are public, some are private. And then the template to use for the Cloud Connector VMs. So basically what you can do is you can select where the VMs need to be added and which host you want to add the VM to. So basically, if you hit refresh, it will generate all the networks available within your System Center environment. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll quickly show you what we've done on the VMware side. So what you see over here is the vSphere Web Client, and similar to the Hyper-V environment or the SCVM environment, we have a plugin for HPE SimpliVity. Now, right next to that, we've created another plugin for SimpliVity Citrix Cloud, and similarly, you just have to provide your OVC credentials. Okay, and then I click on plugin. Again, there is a config file that is being read from, and all this information is being populated. This is the information that you would basically use on a regular basis to connect multiple SimpliVity clusters to Citrix Cloud or to your Citrix Cloud account. So basically, when you enter the SimpliVity information, the OVC information, it goes and queries all the clusters that are available or part of the federation, and then it lists it over here. Local cluster is actually the name of the cluster. It's not actually a local cluster, but it's a name that we've used. Then depending upon the number of Cloud Connector VMs that you want, you can provide the VM name, username, password, and the host that you want to deploy it on. So the host is automatically populated depending upon the cluster that you choose. So all the SimpliVity hosts are here, and then you can select the specific host that you want to deploy it on. And then once you have all your VMs, you can continue adding VMs, removing them as you need to. And then once you're satisfied, you can click configure, and it will go ahead and start connecting your SimpliVity cluster to Citrix Cloud. So this is what we've done from a plugin perspective, and to drive you guys through what the Citrix Cloud UI looks like, I will hand it over back to Alan.
Thanks, Prashanto. And so spend just a couple minutes or so taking a look at the Citrix Cloud interface and the interaction with the resource location, in this case running the SimpliVity platform. So if you can see my screen now, Prashanto, yes?
Yep, I can see your screen.
Perfect. All right, so we're in the Citrix Cloud management plane, available in all three geographies, Americas, EMEA, and Asia Pac. I'm running it out of Americas here, as you see by the URL. And before I go into the virtual apps and desktop service, we're going to take a look at the resource locations, right? These represent your on-premises resource locations, or they could be public clouds. In this case, we're talking about our on-premises data center with HPE SimpliVity. And I can drill in here to the two cloud connectors and see their status, which is green, that's good. And if I want to, I can drill in further and see the actual resource utilization. That's on the cloud connector side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my home screen and we'll take a quick look at the virtual apps and desktop service. Some of you might have had the opportunity to use virtual apps and desktop service. And if you've been running the app and desktop solution on premises with Citrix for some time, the good news is that the management consoles are basically the same in Citrix Cloud. So whether you're a seasoned Citrix administrator or if it's a net new organization just getting into app and desktop virtualization, it is the same management consoles and really easy to get started with. So we're just gonna take a peek into the management console here and browse through a couple things. This is the Studio web-based management console. And again, keep in mind within Citrix Cloud, this management plane is bringing all those commands and funneling them down through the cloud connector at the actual resource locations. Okay, so these are our machine catalogs of different machines. We're primarily using our machine creation services technology to provision them, and we assign them out via delivery groups. Right, so many of you are familiar with that. And then under hosting, right, this is where we're defining the hosting infrastructure. As Prashanto mentioned, with this solution supported on both the vSphere platform as well as Hyper-V through SCVMM. And we define our connections here. So it's all here. And then we have our monitoring console, which is the web-based director. We can drill in and take control of sessions and provide help desk level functionality, view trends in the environment, and ensure that the environment is running well, and we'll continue to do so. All right, so that was the quick demo, and now in the interest of time, I'm just going to go over some resources, and these will be helpful for you as you get up to speed on the solution. So I believe we'll be providing these post-webinar as well, but a number of resources. We've got the plugins for both Hyper-V and vCenter available in GitHub, so you can grab those. The Citrix Workspace app and a trial for Citrix Cloud overall. A lot of great collateral around the Workspace Appliance program, as well as the SimpliVity Ready page in Citrix Ready, and different social media avenues that you can follow us on for the latest updates. So feel free to do a quick screen grab now if you like, and I believe we'll also be making these resources available. So just pause here for a few seconds, and much more collateral to come, certainly as we run out of 2018 and then come into 2019. All right, so we're just about ready to get into Q&A, but on behalf of myself, Alan Formansky, and Prashanto Kochavara, we'd like to thank you all for joining us on the webinar today. We hope you found it informative, and we encourage you to follow us on Twitter for updates related to HPE, Citrix, and other great insights. All right, so with that said, I believe we're ready for the Q&A, and Rubel, would you like to lead us with that?
Absolutely. Thanks, Alan, and thanks, Prashanto, for the insightful presentation as well as the demos. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, now's the time to shoot them in our Q&A panel. We already have a few coming in. The there was one question around how they can reach us. So you can see on the screen email IDs for Prashanto as well as Ellen. So please feel free to send them emails for any questions that you might have. Moving on to our first question, I guess, Alan, you can take this. How can I integrate this solution with my existing on-premises Citrix infrastructure?
Great question. We realize that many customers have existing on-premises Citrix infrastructure and/or existing on-premises HPE infrastructure, and this integrates quite nicely with that. When you go to the Citrix Cloud Management plane, you can aggregate resources from a wide array of environment types and bring it all together through a single pane of glass. So it's basically the Citrix Cloud subscription plus one or more traditional on-premises virtual apps and desktops environments, plus your HP SimpliVity platform, building out your resource locations in an efficient manner. And all the users see and all they really need to care about is they're getting their resources from a single pane of glass, single URL, all seamlessly integrated.
Got it. Awesome. Prashanto, this one's for you. How many GPUs do you support today?
So on the 380 platform, we support, I believe, up to 1 GPU, and on the 2600 platform, we support up to 2. However, we are working on qualifying different kinds of risers and everything, so that number should change pretty soon.
Awesome. And any plans to have Citrix Hypervisor or KVM be supported in the future?
Eventually, it's not on the immediate roadmap, but eventually we do want to support each and every hypervisor that's out there. So that would be part of the plan, overall high-level plan, yes.
Sure, got it. Alan, what are the provisioning methods? Would it be PVS or MCS?
Yeah, so from the provisioning side, it's primarily machine creation services, right? That's your simplified disk-based provisioning. So that's what we recommend. But certainly you can take advantage of provisioning services if you'd like to on your SimpliVity infrastructure to give you a little bit more control than from the network perspective, being a network-based streaming technology. So MCS preferred, but both are options for you.
Got it. I guess this one's for both of you. Prashanto, maybe you could start and then Ellen can add. Any sizing guidelines and reference architectures?
Yes, we have reference architectures available for Citrix XenApp and XenDesktop within the HPE list of assets. Yeah, the easiest way to find that is just doing a Google search, HPE SimpliVity, Citrix XenApp, and you should find the reference architecture. All our reference architectures have been validated by Login BSI as well. So you have, so if you go to Login BSI's website, you'll find the reference architecture and sizing guidelines, everything posted over there. We have an internal sizing tool that partners and HPE Field have access to in order to size customer environments. So the fastest and the easiest way, if you do not have access to that, is to either reach out to your HPE SimpliVity Field resource within your area, or you can drop me an email and I can point you to it.
Got it. There's a question from a gentleman. He wants to know if you'd be available at Summit to chat.
I believe Alan's going to be at Summit, and I should mostly be there as well. I'm not 100% sure yet, but maybe in the next couple of weeks I should know. So if the particular person is interested, then they can drop me an email maybe in a couple of weeks, and I should have a much more formal answer then.
Yep, and I will be at Summit, so we can look to discuss the solution as needed. Sure.
Got it, great. And the last one's for me. So this webinar is being recorded, and we'd send you the presentation, we'd send you the recording of the webinar within 24 hours. So I guess that's all the questions we have, and I guess we are bang on time as well. So once again, Alan and Prashanto, thanks a lot for participating in the webinar to present the demos. It was wonderful to go through these slides. Some of them were very insightful for me as well, and I'm sure my audience found them helpful as well. So any last words, Ellen?
Well, from my side, again, want to thank everyone for joining the webinar here today, and we just really hope that you saw the value in the content and the solution. We believe this is a compelling solution for organizations of all types, of all sizes, to embrace hybrid cloud on their terms, and we hope you agree.
Thanks, Alan. Prashanto, any last words?
Yep, I completely resonate what Alan said, and just from a cost and pricing perspective, subscription-based model is where the world is moving to, and just to reiterate, you have the subscription-based deployment through Citrix Cloud, and then you have flex capacity available on HPE SimpliVity as well, which basically gives you a pay-as-you-grow kind of a model or a consumption-based model. So putting both of these together, you can have your infrastructure and your application both with a consumption-based model. So something to keep in mind, something that's going to be really attractive to customers and to you guys as partners and field resources as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Prashanto. Thanks, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to you for taking the time to attend the webinar. If you do have any more questions, there are email IDs displayed on your slide. You can also reach out to us at citrixready@citrix.com. So thanks again, and this concludes the webinar. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.